Hi, so there's a couple of ways we could do this example with a long division and quotient. So you could do it by synthetic division or you could use long division. So in this case, we could see that they want us to use long division. So that means they just want us to set up the divisor going into the dividend. So we would just set this up as usual and have x plus 4 as the divisor, and then x cubed plus 2x squared. And then notice we're missing our linear term, so we can go ahead and put 0x or something like that to fill it just as a filler. And so when we start the division, we always ask ourselves, looking at this leading term, what times x would give me x cubed. Now the plus 4 is going to be the by default and we'll use it when we're multiplying out and stuff. But for now, we really aren't looking at the 4 to match anything. We're looking at the x and x cubed. So what times x will give you x cubed? Or you have an alternative way. You could say, okay, well, what's x cubed divided by x? And that would be x squared. So that means that x squared times x would give you the x cubed. And we'd like to keep our place values. So if it's x squared, put it above the x squared term in the dividend. So x squared times x is x cubed, but then also now you have to distribute. So not only do you multiply the x, but you'll multiply with the 4. And then x squared times 4 is 4x squared. Now what you want to do is subtract these first two terms, right? But you could do it like this, or you could just automatically go in and say, okay, this is going to be minus, and then add. So x cubed minus x cubed, those cancel, and 2x squared minus x, 4x squared gives you negative 2x squared. Now you would drop down the next term, which is 0x, right? Because there's no linear term. And then once again, you would try to match up this term and the leading term of the divisor. And what times x would give you negative 2x squared? So if you don't see it right away, then feel free to, on the margin of your paper, say, okay, negative 2x squared divided by x gives me negative 2x. Therefore, keeping place values, I would have minus 2x. So now multiplying minus 2x times x gives you that minus 2x squared, but don't forget you have to do it to both. Minus 2x times 4 gives you minus 8x. So you do have some sort of linear term when you're multiplying out. So once again, we can just change the signs and just add. So negative 2x squared plus 2x squared, those cancel as we expect. And 0 plus 8x leaves you 8x. Dropping down the last term, 31, we again try to match up the leading terms, 8x and x. So this one, maybe we don't have to do this, side work. X times what gives me 8x, and that would give us 8. So 8 times x is 8x, and 8 times 4 is 32. Now, of course, we want to subtract, right? Or we could just go ahead and change the sign. So we could change it to adding and minus, minus. So 8x minus 8x cancel like we always assume, and 31 minus 32 leaves us with negative 1. So here will be the quotient part, and then this one will be the remainder. So in the quotient, we put in x squared minus 2x plus 8, and in the remainder, we just put negative 1. If we wanted to write this more formally, we would put the quotient x squared minus 2x plus 8, and then the remainder, so minus 1 all over the divisor of x plus 4. So you just make sure that the remainder goes over the divisor. And in general, if you wanted to know, it really is just the quotient plus the remainder over the divisor. And if you don't have a remainder, then this whole extra part is just 0.